In today's video, I'm going to go through my book club again, the Essentialism book that that we're currently reading. And I just want to go through what we talked about, a discussion of the questions. I'm going to read through the questions and kind of give my opinion on how we discussed it in our group and what we talked about. So we're on the second component of the book. It's called Escape. And so these are the 5 chapters from Escape. So question number 1 was, in the category of escape, what if we recognize the value of creating space for solitude and reflection in our lives? Understanding that is often in moments of quiet that we gain clarity about what truly matters to us. This is a big thing that I'm working with entrepreneurs and myself in general, is just more quiet time or thought-provoking time. It's way easier said than done, especially when you're running a business and you're kind of like in the business, a lot of the working parts of the business, right? So whenever you feel like you're having quiet time, you're having thought time, you feel like you're not being productive, you're not doing the things that you need to do. Your team's relying on you, the business isn't moving forward, it feels like, so forth, right? We all have that feeling. We've all had that feeling. We all still are currently in that feeling. I know I feel it a lot, even though I have the ability to create a little bit more free time than I think than most people do. But it's still practice because I feel like I'm a very productive person. And because of that, when my calendar shows like this blank time of like, I call them clarity breaks, when I have clarity breaks built into time, I have to have a plan for that. I really honestly don't even have, I don't even know if I'm truly in this conceptual side of the thought-provoking kind of time. I usually go in with a plan of something to really think out. And so I'm sure having something to like kind of prompt you in those things is important. I think sometimes I go into them a little bit too focused on the topic I want to come out with or what I want to come for an answer. And I sometimes think I need to think about that a little bit more solitude. So one thing I'm currently working on, we talked about in the group and stuff, is finding more consistent free time every single week. A little thought-provoking time in the calendar that's earlier in the morning. For me, I'm looking at the sense that I usually do my Bible reading and my journaling and all that kind of stuff from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And so from after 7 a.m., maybe that'd be a good time to go into thought-provoking time right away as my mind's already in that thinking capacity instead of checking emails and going into work capacity. And so it's just finding time, the thing says, creating space for solitude and reflection in our lives. Understanding that moments of quiet create clarity on what truly matters. And I do find whenever I'm in those clarity breaks or just in thought-provoking time in general, a lot of things clear out. They become more essential, right? And so the whole book obviously is essentialism, but I start to get like a little bit more focused on, okay, what are all the things I'm currently working on? Where are these going? Is it busy work? You kind of want to go in with that perspective of kind of thinking out everything that's going on. So we really love that topic. A lot of us had some deep conversation about that. How to continue to find time in our life and know that like that time that's dedicated to escaping is actually really important to the business growing overall. Number 2 is look. What if we adopted a mindset of continuous learning and growth, always seeking out new perspectives and insights that would help us refine our understanding of what is essential in our lives? I think most people that are in mastermind groups I don't know if all entrepreneurs are this way, but the entrepreneurs that I'm familiar with are this way. They're all really growth mindset based. So I think that's for most people is pretty simple. Like, I'm growth mindset. But I think the idea of growth mindset sometimes is skewed towards like the thing we want to focus on. And what I kind of took about it was the new perspectives and insights. So one, I do a lot of reading. I think a lot of people in business do a lot of reading. We might have blog posts and stuff that we follow, but it's kind of centralized in that same mode, meaning it's on the one thing we want to learn. Usually it's just on our business and getting better at our business. So let's say it's fitness, right? You learn more about fitness, more things about fitness, or maybe just getting more fitness leads. But I think that I want people to start thinking bigger picture, like learning in all aspects of life. Learning more, like me and my wife are reading a relationship book right now, just to continue to make our relationship stronger. I've been reading a lot of wealth books over the last year, trying to continue to make sure I understand all different categories of that, how to invest and do those things. So in having conversations with people about like faith and God and things that I want to dive deeper into. So as I look through the different domains that are in our mastermind program, I think it's really important to not just focus on becoming like the world's greatest at one thing, but to be able to like learn about different aspects of life. Because as you learn about these different aspects of life, you become a more well-rounded person. but also I think you become better at anything that you do because you learn different perspectives that bring in ability for when you have thought-provoking time to start to see the bigger picture of everything. So um, I don't think that was a new one to the group because we're all pretty growth mindset oriented, but I do think people that are growth mindset oriented, sometimes we need to make sure we're taking a bigger picture of all of life and what are the different aspects of life we can learn about. And the fact that by learning about other things outside of our main niche or our focus, we actually might grow our ability to make better decisions inside of our niche. Play. What if we approached our work and responsibilities with a spirit of playfulness and experimentation, recognizing that a playful mindset can lead to greater creativity, innovation, and joy in our pursuits. Same idea there of like trying different things is going to give you more focus, just more creativity, time to outside of that need. So when sometimes when you're laser focused on things, you miss the outside perspectives that can come in from that. And when you're outside of there, I know for me, one of the things I like to do is just go shoot hoops. Like not even playing, just shooting hoops. And I get so much like creativity and thought-provoking time during that time. My mind starts to think about things. It's like the creativity allows some freedom in my thought. But it allows me to kind of I was outside of my spectrum of just like reading a business book or whatever, which is supposed to give me personal growth. But when I went out and did something else, I was able to start thinking through those things. I know on my walks with my wife every night, like I get so much value from our conversations that we have about life, about, we talk about my business, but we also talk about what's going on in her life, which spurs new ideas for me. We talk about just, all the different things we have going in life, building on our house, just having good relationships, deep relationships. And those things all provoke great conversations and thoughts in my head as I have that free time away from being behind a computer doing work. I think there's a buddy of mine, Jimmy Carter. He not that Jimmy Carter, like Jimmy Carter, Carter Fitness. He said probably a couple of years ago. He said I think everybody needs to have a hobby, and he's completely right. I don't know if I really had a true hobby, and at least for the last 10 years, I haven't had a hobby until probably the last year and a half. The last year and a half, my hobby has been my house. We bought a new house. There's a lot of things I want to do in the backyard. So my hobby's been like spending my extra time outside building concrete and doing that stuff in the backyard. And it's fun. It gets my mind creative. It allows me to just like get away, And sometimes manual labor is one of the best ways to do that. And his point was the fact that like we get so stuck in this like game of business and around money and all those kind of things that we just need to play and have fun. So that way we enjoy things outside of the hard stuff we got to do sometimes in business. And any good motivator is going to say, do hard things, and do hard things are important. Our businesses are honestly hard things, right? So sometimes it's fun to have play. It's important to have play. And that's the same idea they're trying to say is the joy in that pursuit. And there's so many different things you can do. Like another thing that we do for a hobby is hiking. We go hiking every Sunday. That's something that me and my wife really enjoy. Take our dog out and we go hiking. We hike with friends. You can be in pickup sports leagues. Golf's a huge one for entrepreneurs to be able to golf. So finding those things, and don't think of those things as just like time away from my business or time with my family. Think about those in time pursuits of play so you can be better in all those aspects. When you get done with a round of golf, you're just like a happier person. At least if you're me, like I don't care as much about being perfect at golf. I just enjoy the atmosphere and the buddies I golf with. And so because of that, like I get done with golf and it's a great just experience with my friends. And I'm a happier person overall the rest of the day. I'm better with my wife. I'm like more focused on things I need to do because I had so much fun for that day. So something to think about is always continue to keep play into your routine. And if you don't currently have play in your routine, and sometimes I think people are like, my business is my play. I kind of call bullshit on that. You can love your business. I absolutely love what I do in business, period. Like it's very joyful. I spend a lot more time doing business than anything else in my life. But I don't think that's exactly play. I think we have been trained in by these gurus out there to be like, well, if you love business, just keep doing business. This is what I love to do. And I think it's because they haven't taken the time to actually create hobbies. And this is the only thing they figured out they're good at. And they haven't taken the time to find hobbies, to see if those hobbies will improve other aspects of their life. So my call to you would be like, it doesn't have to be a hobby that you do like all the time. You don't have to be a professional golfer out of this. If you go golfing once a week, you're killing it with a hobby size. It doesn't have to be every day. But it's finding things outside of that to create play. Sleep. I mean, I come from, so I'll read through this one. Sleep. What if we prioritize our physical and mental well-being by ensuring that we get enough rest and rejuvenation, understanding that adequate sleep is essential for maintaining focus, productivity, and overall health. So my first instinct is like, oh, everybody knows I need to get enough sleep because I'm from the fitness industry. We teach all of our clients get lots and lots of sleep. But the more I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, they still wear the badge of honor of, I only got 4 hours of sleep last night. And I'm like, you're crazy. Like, really? Only 4 hours of sleep? You're not the best you can be for your business. You're not the best you can be for your clients. You're not the best you can be for your family, right? So less than 7 hours of sleep, really. I call it 7 hours in bed, really, because who knows how much we can control sleep exactly. But less than 7 hours in bed is almost irresponsible to what you're trying to do in life. Now, they're going to have days like travel, whatever, you just can't get as much sleep, or nights you wake up like me in the middle of the night and your brain's just like on fire, like I'm not going back to bed, I got to get to work. That happens. That's awesome. Don't take advantage of those moments. Like, man, they're great. But for the most part, like 98% of the time I sleep for at least, I'm in bed with probably 8.5 hours available for sleep, and it probably takes me a little bit to get to bed. So maybe I'm lucky if I get between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. But it's super important for every other aspect of life. So if you're still wearing the badge of honor of sleep deprived, there's so many studies out there to show anything under 6 hours of sleep, you're already at a very low capacity for like thinking creativity, for your creativity of thought, as well as under 4 hours of sleep, I think is like associated with like drunk driving. So it's not great for anything that you're doing, business-wise, creativity-wise. So anybody that's telling you this, I mean, there are anomalies. There are people that can handle these things and do it. And you might think you're an anomaly. I'd probably say you're not. Most people that think they're an anomaly, even the people that are in certain anomalies, they probably could get more sleep. They're just choosing not to. They're sacrificing one thing, which might be longevity of health. It might honestly be the fact that they're not going to live as long as some other people because their body is exhausted at an earlier point. So the trade-off is usually not worth it. So trying to get that amount of sleep is important. So kind of the takeaway from this one, I know all the people that are in the conversation were all pretty good sleepers or people that naturally go to bed. But there was a time in our life where that wasn't a thing. I have a lot of fitness business owners that I talk to. And when, gyms are late nights, early mornings. And so it took them a while to get in a routine of being, they don't, it took them past their 20s to realize they don't want to go out very often during the week because they are exhausted. And so they just started like getting more and more boring, which was beneficial to them. And they were able to sleep better. And so I think that's a better thing to think about going down the road, especially as you start to get older. I think you should do it at a younger age regardless, but as you get older, more and more sleep is important. And the last category is called select. What if we curated our environments, both physical and digital, to minimize distractions and maximize opportunities for deep work and meaningful connection? So this one is a big idea. What I mean by big idea is like thinking through like how, if we could create that perfect environment, that is awesome. I think it's a really hard practice, and it's going to be something that most people have to like be diligent about and work towards over a long period of time. So again, our curated environments for both physical and digital, minimizing distractions and maximizing opportunities for deep work and meaningful connection. So this would be important with phones in general, is taking your phone. I'm somebody that I try to stay undistracted, but man, if somebody watched over my shoulder, I'm probably distracted like 60% of the day and not even thinking I'm distracted, right? So I have my phone close, get texts throughout the day from clients, buddies, things of that nature, and I respond, in a timely manner. I'm not like somebody that doesn't look at their phone all day long. It's not a great habit. It's something I need to personally break, and talking to everybody else, like that's something they really need to break as well. The phone is an obstacle for us. So finding ways to reduce over time. And again, I don't think anybody can some people could, but most people aren't going to be able to do this in one shot. So my big takeaway from this is just the evening kind of thing, is trying to get good at like, when my work day is done, like really 6 p.m., I want to get good at taking that phone and putting the phone away for the night. Off the top of my head, I don't know of anything I need after 6 p.m. And I'm in Arizona, and almost everybody that I either work with or family and stuff is 2 hours ahead, if not 3 hours ahead right now. And so most of them are in bed, and so I really don't need to be touching my phone after 6 p.m. My wife, our friends around here aren't going to text us during the week. At families and stuff, there's nothing they really need from us. So we really need to be around my phone that often. And so that's a big thing I'm taking away from it, is finding ways. It's so addicting, the phones are, to like just keep checking. It's amazing how many times you do phantom checks, right? And so the phone is a big one for me, but other things like distracting environment. I think a lot of people's offices are pretty distracting. I think what they think is clean is very cluttered. I know clutter is a big deal for a lot of people. I'm very good at keeping things very uncluttered. If you go around our house, like everything has a place and a purpose, and it's kind of expected to put those things back in place because that creates a better environment. So I know that's not something I struggle with, but a lot of people struggle with even like their desk being cluttered. Or like, I don't know if Mark will listen to this, but my buddy Mark, he has a tendency on his computer to have like 50, 50 is exaggeration, but quite a few tabs open at once. That's a distraction alone because you don't even know what you're really focusing on to figure out how that many tabs open. So the idea is to focus on what you need to focus on, having like a few tabs open at a time. So I think there's so many different things that we can go down. You can go down the distraction avenue for. I think it's something that we really need to take an honest assessment, a digital assessment and a physical assessment. So I think the physical is easier than the digital to start with. So meaning like first, can I optimize the area that I work in? Can I go through my office, organize it to get like everything in place so that way I don't have any clutter around. I organize things that are like, because when you have clutter in your desk, it's like undone things is what it is. So the things that your mind always think, that's not done, that's not done, that's not done. So get those things done, organize them, put them somewhere so they're out of your mind. You don't need them right now. When you need them, you'll know where they're at. Organize them. Don't just throw them in a pile, get everything organized, right? So if your office is at home or your office is at wherever you work, so take time to organize that. That'd be the first thing, get things in place for that. The second part is create rules around your phone, right? So what the phone is probably the biggest distraction we have. And the first rules might be getting rid of notifications. So alerts on your phone throughout the day. You check it when you feel like checking it, not when somebody tells you it's time to check, like by the alarm. So go through and turn off all those. That's one thing I think I'm really good at is I don't have anything on my phone that alerts me. I have to physically check it to see those alerts. That doesn't stop me from physically checking it a lot. That's the obstacle. But realistically, it probably, if I just went by the amount of alerts that happen on my phone throughout the day, I would be checking it even more often. So getting rid of alerts and stuff on your phone. And then from there, going into how do I continue to optimize this. And so then maybe finding rules around the times you're going to utilize your phone. I'm only going to have these 4-hour breaks between phone, and then I'll check it between these times. And people get used to the fact that I only check my phone at 8, noon, and 4, right? Or same thing, email. I only check my email 3 times a day, 2 times a day, whatever. It's like for me, I only check my email early in the morning, like right before I start work. And then at the end of the day, I check it. And I try not to like reschedule my day at all based on when I check those emails. I try to save that rescheduling for later in the week. Okay, I'm going to move those tasks into later in the week. It doesn't always happen. We all have customer emergencies. We got to take care of them right away. Outside of that, we try to move things down the road for that. It's the idea of like creating opportunities for deep work is so desirable. The more time I have doing deep work, it's like, man, I do completely get why people want more deep work. In this and Level Up, I've had more time for deep work than I had in when I owned Game Change Performance. I didn't have as much time for deep work, and it's amazing how impactful, like just how much better stuff that I create having that time for deep work. And so if everybody could find that time for their deep work, it would make a world of difference in like their clarity, the vision they're trying to have, what they're trying to grow, what they're trying to do. So we just got to find more time for that. I think the environment for the physical side is something that you can do is easier. The digital side, it's going to take a lot of systemizing. So systemizing your emails. Do you have a good process to go through your emails and make sure that they're all cleaned up easily? You don't have to, I use an app called Boomerang so that it only brings in the emails of that day. I go through once in the day and make sure those are all cleaned up, organized in terms of I've answered the ones I need to answer. I organize the ones into folders that need to be organized. So when I'm done for the day, it's like as close to inbox zero as it can be. And so that helps me with the email side of things. The alerts on my phones, try to keep all those down. I use some different apps on like Chrome apps to help like do like Loom videos so I can do videos quicker, so I don't have to spend so much time sending emails. So there's little things you can do of that nature to make a better environment for you. But I think overall, the whole idea of this one is called Escape. I think it's a great idea that, the whole essentialist idea is to like streamline your life more. And I do think every entrepreneur that I personally am associated with needs to streamline so much more. Like I feel like I'm a pretty streamlined person and I could like do tenfold on what I'm doing right now. And it's practice, it's habits. It's not something like overnight you're going to do. So start putting these things into place, start practicing these things. If you guys haven't read the book Essentialism yet, it is a really good book. I think sometimes like certain books need to hit you at the right time. This book, probably if it would have hit me 5 years ago, I don't know if I would have paid as much attention. I would have thought, I was younger. I was like, oh, I can do all these things. Now I'm older. I'm 38 years old, and I'm kind of like, man, I don't want to spend all my time doing these things. And some of this other stuff's like just overkill. Why am I doing it? So it's hit me at the right time where essentialism makes a lot more sense to me in my life. So it might be something you read through the book right now. I know one of the guys that's on our call, Jim Herrick, he read the book a while ago, and now he's reading through it now, and it's hitting him better now. And he's being able to like understand this better in his life at this point. And so I think that's really, really important to know what time of life it is. It's okay to read books and not get a lot from it one time, and then go back and read those books multiple years later, and you might get a bigger impact from those. So I hope this made sense to you guys all. So if you guys ever want something, so inside of our Brotherhood Beyond Business Mastermind, it's a male-only mastermind, we are focusing on becoming a CEO of your own life. And so with this in mind, we're bringing in a lot of essentialism ideas to this, as well as having like the different 10 domains of your life and helping you optimize different parts of your life so that across the board, you feel like you're in control of the different aspects of your life and moving them in the direction you want to do. So if that's something you're ever interested in, you're a small business entrepreneur. We really work a lot with fitness businesses, but we can work with a lot of different businesses in the mastermind group, as long as you're a small business and you're focused on looking to grow yourself. And you have to want to grow yourself across all aspects of life. You can't just want to look for just growing your business. Business is going to be one of the components, but it cannot be the only component in what we do. Okay. So if that's something you're interested in, reach out to us. Otherwise, have a great day, guys.